Coach, it seemed like defense had a pretty good day today. What did you see from your vantage point?
I thought we were streaky. I thought both sides were streaky. I thought, I thought we practiced better yesterday overall, both sides. The biggest thing, we got to be consistent. We're a streaky team right now. We are able to put together plays on either side of the ball in succession, but we don't have that consistency we need to get. The other thing is, I think we got to push through. We got to push through the weather and the work.
Does that just come with reps, that consistency that you're talking about, or what specifically would you like to see this team do in order to kind of achieve what you're looking for?
Well, they just have to focus. They have to have the ability to focus when they're tired and play with good technique when they're tired.
Coach, I know Alvin's new here, but he's not new to the air raid. He seems really comfortable out there. What's your expectations of him, and what's your thoughts so far from him?
Just keep improving. He's a real sudden guy. He's good at coming out of his cuts. He's can stop and go real fast. Be a consistent guy, and then also he gives us a little depth.
He was here in the spring, but your thoughts on Micaiah Polk and what he's been able to do early on?
Getting better, getting better. I think that, and he's improved since spring. Good at playing the ball in the air, and also needs to push through. Needs to be the same guy at the end of the work as he is at the beginning.
What's your impression specifically of Malik Heath and Chance Levertich so far, and where do you think they need to improve on?
I think Malik's inconsistent. Malik needs to focus. He needs to use two hands when he catches the ball. When he plays well, he's a very dynamic player. And the biggest thing he needs to do is play up to his potential, because good things could happen for him if he does. He's occasionally great rather than consistently good. Levertich, he's steadily improved. I thought he had a really good day today, and then he's triggering quicker than he did in the spring. And so he just needs to keep improving.
How would you compare the buy-in level of the guys with this year's group compared to 1 year ago? How much more would you say this year's group has bought in? I know it's a lot of similar faces, but still.
Well, they know each other a lot better. They know each other better, and they've worked together through the off season. So I think that helps a lot. You kind of know the guy next to you and his tendencies and what he's able to do. And then, of course, it's competitive, so they're pushing one another.
Seems like some of the guys, whether it be on the field or on the sideline, were pretty engaged throughout practice today. Do you feel like the intensity is starting to pick up a little bit as camp rolls on?
Yeah, we've had pretty good intensity. We've had pretty good intensity. We come off the throttle when we're tired, but but I do think the energy out here has been real good.
Coach Arnett mentioned the ability of Buki Watson and Tyrus Wheat to play multiple positions. How important is that versatility at linebacker?
Well, they're real talented guys. I mean, part of the versatility's good, but then the other thing is you can create mismatches with those guys by moving them around, because that's they're both guys that you don't want to see across from you, and so we try. They're going to try to share the wealth with the opponent's offense with those two guys.
Coach, you brought in a lot of competition in the quarterback room, bringing an incumbent starter back. How do you kind of characterize the quarterback competition? Is everybody chasing Will, or is it an open deal?
I think it's an open deal. I mean, I think it's an open deal. I think Will and Chance are at the top, but it's an open deal.
When do you kind of expect to see one of those guys start to separate themselves, or is it a circumstantial type of deal with that?
It's circumstantial, but we need to push it. We've got quite a few more practices to do it, but there'll come a time where we have to make a decision and split the reps different.
The SEC preseason media poll came out a couple weeks ago, and it predicted you guys to finish last in the SEC West. Do you kind of use that as bulletin board material, or with your guys?
I pretty well ignore it. I mean, I don't ask those guys' opinion on anything else, so I'm probably not going to start with that.
You guys go into full pads on Wednesday. How much easier is it to evaluate guys once you get to that step?
It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. It's difficult to, it's difficult, especially with the lines. It's difficult to gauge run game and pass protection. without pads. You know, it's difficult to say whether a guy got a sack or whether a guy got a good run unless you got the pads on. And then it also just blocking and shedding blocks, you know, it helps that too.
What have you seen from Randy throughout, you know, camp so far, and how big of a role do you kind of expect for him to play for you guys this year?
Randy
Charlton?
Oh, yeah, just you know, he's pretty dynamic too. I mean, he's a load in there, and he's faster than you'd think he is. So he's been playing well. A lot of guys on that front are, especially, you know, when they're fresh and they push through.
You think he's going to play a big role in kind of filling the void of some of the guys that you lost from last year?
Oh, I think so.
With the offensive line, do you feel like they're pretty established so far with the 5 you want up there, or is that still kind of open to moving around as fall camp rolls on?
I think most of it's open. You know, most of it's open, and you know, we're slowly becoming a tougher, grittier group, and that needs to happen.
What kind of makes the ideal inside receiver for your scheme, for the air raid scheme?
The best available receiver would be the top one, you know, whoever's the best available receiver. But then after that, you need a guy that understands space. It's a more complicated position than some. And then the other thing is you want guys that have good change of direction. Sometimes low center of gravity guys have that, but they don't have to be, you know, as long as they can get out of their cuts and change direction.
Some of the receivers, do you feel like after a year of having that experience, they're more instinctual, I guess, on the line, as opposed to maybe thinking about it too much last year?
Better than we were. Still got a long ways to go. I think that group's got to get a lot tougher. I think that the whole fleet of those guys have to get a lot tougher.
It seems like Jaquavius Marks has built his body up a little bit with the offseason and all that. What did the offseason you think do for him, and especially playing last year as a true freshman?
Well, I think the experience helped him a lot. I think he's having a good camp. I think that, you know, he put on good weight, so he's a bigger, more solid guy, and probably even faster. So, no, I think he had a very productive offseason.
Coach, I know as it gets closer to game week, you'll start paring things down rep-wise. How do you kind of manage reps for the newcomers right now in camp before you get to game plan week?
Well, we have 2 pass skills going on, and then we usually have post-practice to the extent that we can. You know, you have to kind of make judgments on, you know, when you're going to get the best work. So, and then also we're rolling them in a little bit in the course of our the other periods too. So you just try to look at them the best you can, but also generate additional film so that you can look at them even more, as many reps as you can.
How much more vocal has Will been this year compared to last year around?
You know, he was pretty vocal last year. I think, because he's got good leadership qualities, I think it was honestly quite similar, you know, once he began to get established.